We've been waiting a long time for Gravity Rush, a third-person action game mixed with some JRPG mechanics. Ever since E3 2011, it seems all the PlayStation Vita community can talk about is how cool this game looks and how interesting the control scheme is. However, now that Gravity Rush is here, I can tell you that Sony Japan's title isn't the Vita savior some were hoping for, but it is fun. Believe it or not, Gravity Rush is a superhero's origin story. Cat falls from the sky and wakes up memoryless, but with the ability to shift the bonds of gravity thanks to her cat Dusty. I am not making this up. For the next 10 hours, we play as this perky blonde girl as she learns to master her abilities and goes from the town's pariah to savior. This story is one of the most unexpected and entertaining parts of the game. Cat's cute and the situations she gets into are comical, but there's this thread throughout of a hero trying to do good for the sake of others. Her personal tale is left very open in the end, and things wrap up really abruptly, but it's one hell of a ride. That's thanks in part to the bells and whistles. Cat's story unfolds as comic book cutscenes on the Vita's OLED screen. They're a clever way to ground the game in this manga world. There's no real voice acting in the title, but the music's cheery and sets a tone for each area of the city. And while the watercolor visuals are beautiful, there is a fair amount of pop-in, and the draw distances leave you wanting. The reason Cat's story caught me so off guard is because most IGN previews have focused on the game's control scheme. And that's understandable because it's undeniably unique. Cat's superpower is the ability to shift gravity. Thus, she can fall to this wall and then it becomes her floor. So rather than flying, she's always falling. It's hard to explain, but it's easy to understand and fall in love with. Shooting into the sky, pausing for a moment, and then changing directions are brilliant PlayStation Vita memories. Gravity Rush makes it enthralling just to zoom around the town collecting gems, which you can use to unlock new abilities and challenges. But it's when it's time to fight that things get a bit cumbersome. Early battles just have you kicking dog-sized enemies. But when it's time to take to the skies and tackle really big bad guys, it gets hairy. Each of the Nevi have a weak spot on their back, and Cat can do this flying kick to do some damage. However, tons of times I'd be on my approach, and then the enemy would shift ever so slightly mid-kick and I'd fly right by it. Frustrated, I'd have to work my way back into the clouds and try it again. This system draws out some of the battles and really makes you wish for a ranged attack. Cat does have these special moves that lock onto the weak spots, but they need to charge up. So plenty of fights had me hiding out of the way, building my special, rather than actually fighting this thing like a real superhero would. Beyond that, Gravity Rush sprinkles in some Vita controls that are actually fun to use. Putting both thumbs on the touchscreen causes Cat to do this gravity slide you can steer with the system. And finishing moves on bosses come with tapping the screen. These aren't forced and they feel good. Those few annoying missed kicks and a draw distance that sometimes obscures gems aren't the end of the world. It's fun to explore Gravity Rush. I'll be back for the individual challenges, and I found the story is interesting. But that doesn't mean it's a must-buy. Gravity Rush is a good game, but it isn't a great one. For more on Gravity, jump. For everything about video games and crazy cool crap, check out IGN.com.